Cheers everyone, welcome back to another video. This video is gonna be good. This is a good one. I'm gonna give you guys 5 steps before this video is over for you to manifest your dream life. We have about a month left in the year, and so this is a great time to begin implementing these techniques that we're gonna go over today. They're really gonna get you, you know those videos that you see of like how to get ahead of 99% of people? These are really gonna get you on a path where you really are, at least mentally, your mentality. And then I'm also gonna go over how to implement action to go with all of this that is going to put you ahead of everybody else. While everybody else is waiting for January 1st to start doing whatever, we're gonna start now, we're gonna start ahead, and it's gonna set us up for success going into 2025. So let's begin here. So the first step that you're going to want to do, and by the way, all of these techniques, including many more, are going to be in my ebook. If you are interested in the ebook, which is going to be releasing very soon, click the link in the description. You'll be added to the list, and I will let you know as soon as it's available. The first technique is to write down your top 3 goals, and we're going to split these goals into different categories. The first one is going to be relationship, so that could be it could involve your friends, family, but it also obviously your romantic relationships. What is it that you want? Do you want to kind of date around, meet more people? Do you want to be single? Do you want to really form a really powerful connection with somebody? Do you want to start a family? That type of intention is what we're going to write down. We're going to get very clear on what that is for us. Write that down. The second category here is going to be career and money. Now we're putting this into a bucket that encompasses both because it's very easy for us to then identify, okay, I want to be in this job making this much money a year, right? That's like one intention. Or you can say, I want my business to begin earning X amount of money a month, right? I want to be making X amount of profit in my online store, or I want to be doing such and such type of work that's bringing me in this amount of income. And so that's going to be another facet of this, is describing, getting very clear on what it is that you're doing, and even going so far as what does your day really look like, because that's going to help us as we get into the action process with this as well. Now, the third category is going to be your lifestyle / travel / whatever else it is that you want here. And we're putting this again into another category because it's, again, very easy for the mind to be like, okay, what do I want my life to look like? What type of lifestyle do I want? Do I want to be able to work from home? Do I want to be traveling a bunch this year? Do I want to do like that digital nomad type of thing? Do I just want to buy, my dream home with my partner, right? All of these things are going to be informing your lifestyle and what that kind of looks like, so to begin to paint a picture and also begin to give you inspiration as far as what that goes. If you are, again, looking for your dream home, you're going to maybe start looking on Zillow. You're going to maybe start contacting your realtor that or putting out feelers with friends and family to say, hey, like, what's available in this area? Paying attention to the housing market. Certain people are saying that the housing market's going to take a dip. All of that type of stuff goes along with this, as well as traveling. Where is it that you want to go? For me personally, for a long time, I've been I want to go to Europe, specifically Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Sweden, Norway. I've always been drawn to these areas, and people say that in Norway is some of the happiest people in the world. And so that for me is an intention that I have. Now describe how you want that to look. Do you want to be traveling with friends? Do you want to travel by yourself? Do you want to travel with your partner? Which countries do you want to go to? Which cities? How are you going to travel around? Do you want to take the train? Do you want to, like, all of this stuff goes into this kind of area, but being very clear and developing clarity with this. Now, the next part of this is you're going to write a letter to yourself talking about how grateful you are that this happened. So, for example, you're going to begin the letter out like, first off, you can talk about the relationship aspect. Like, oh, I'm so grateful that I have these friends that are also creative, that are also business-minded, that are entrepreneurs, and we can connect on all these different levels. And then they're really people that are, they're trustworthy. They have a good head on their shoulders, all these qualities and people that you want. You can also begin to write the qualities of the person that you want in your romantic relationships, right? Again, it's very important to get very clear on this, because if you're not clear and you don't have clarity, they say that Stoic quote is like, the ship that knows not where it's going, like for that ship, no wind is favorable, right? So you're going to kind of just take what you get rather than being clear on your intentions with the type of people that you are allowing into your life. If you've been somebody that has been, consistently, you've experienced people that maybe disrespected you, or people that have not treated you well, or, people that kind of walk all over your boundaries, or what have you. This is an important part of this process for you to get clear on being on what exactly it is that you are looking for in the people that you are allowing into your close circle. Okay, so gratitude for that. You're grateful for the money and the career that you're bringing in, that you're able to do this creative work, that you're able to work from home, whatever the case. Again, we're expressing all of these in details in this letter to ourselves. Again, much more. I'm going in over a lot of this stuff in much more detail in my ebook, which you can download by clicking on the link in the description. You'll be given a link as soon as the new ebook comes out. It's called the Robotic Affirmation Code, the formula for successful manifestation on autopilot. If you're interested in picking that up, I'm going to be going over all of these in much more depth. But the second part of this 5-step process is to use the mirror technique. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about mirror work. They're calling it mirror work on YouTube nowadays. But I've been talking about this technique for a long time. I've used this technique specifically in the context of sales. I've used it in the context of socializing, much before I ever even really learned about it from Claude Bristol's book and like from the other people that talk about it. I had different people, mentors of mine that kind of told me to go about this process. But this process is extremely powerful. So what you're going to do is every single morning, you're going to read to yourself this letter that you wrote to yourself while in the mirror looking at yourself. You're going to begin to build this kind of relationship with you, the version of you that's already kind of in this timeline that already has this. Because again, we're writing this letter from the perspective of the version of us that already has these things. We already have these things have been attained, and how grateful we are. So we're familiarizing ourselves with this version of ourselves by looking in the mirror and powerfully looking into our own eyes. This is a very powerful practice. They call it gazing in many spiritual teachings. Many spiritual practices and traditions do this and engage in this process, and it's extremely powerful. And you're going to want to do it like before you brush your teeth or like after you brush your teeth. You're going to want to make this a ritual that is a part of your morning routine, right? Many people have different morning routines, whatever it might be. Just make sure that you are basically making sure that you do it by encapsulating it within something that you already do. For example, like brushing your teeth, washing your face. Make sure you do it every morning. Now, number 3, the third step in this process is we're going to find ourselves a guided affirmation, meditation or affirmation track, or even better yet, create your own affirmation track. Again, for this, if you need inspiration, you can download my book where I will have tons of affirmations for each area of your life, and that's going to really supercharge your results in these specific areas. But really, you can go and pick up inspiration from anywhere and begin to craft these affirmations, even just record it into your phone. I had somebody comment recently that they had a lot of success with this, and that they were able to get their dream job from doing this process that I recommended to them. Now, once you have crafted this, you're going to allow yourself, like every evening before you go to sleep, or maybe during periods after lunch where you kind of do this, it's like this meditation, SATS type exercise, right? Where you relax, you put your headphones on, you listen to that relaxing music, and you allow these affirmations to saturate your consciousness. You're going to make that a habit at least once a day to do this. You're probably going to craft an affirmation track. You're probably going to want it to be at least 5-10 minutes long, right? So you're going to want to do it every single day, ideally every single night, or when you're in that drowsy, sleepy state. That is when the alpha, theta brainwave patterns emerge, and we are much more receptive towards hypnosis and all these types of things. So 4, this is the 4th step in this process. And in this step, I'm going to be sharing with you the other facet of this, which is you're going to want to time chunk your day. You're going to want to divide your day up into, like, let's say 7-to-1. This is a process that I've used that has really been massively helpful in terms of my productivity. 7-to-1, 1-to-7, and then 7-to-1, or whatever it is. That way you have 3 different chunks. You're not getting too obsessive with your time blocking, time chunking, but you are crafting a list here of different tangible action steps that you're going to do. Some of them might be in the self-care. It might be errands that you've been neglecting to do. They could also be basically just getting yourself into a routine and then identifying what steps you are actually going to take, tangible steps that are going to put you in the direction of your goals. And this is very, very powerful because your mind is going to begin to, if you're not taking any action, if you're doing absolutely nothing in the direction of these goals that you have listed, taught about, for me personally, a lot of people that I've spoken to, you begin to have this cognitive dissonance. You're like, well, I'm not even taking action on this. It feels like you're lying to yourself. But when you lean into it, and let's say that you are working on that business, and so you begin to watch YouTube videos, you begin to watch trainings, you're investing in crypto, so you're beginning to watch and learn more about it. Taking these steps, these concrete steps toward the direction of your goal is going to be very powerful. And blocking your day out in 3 different sections where you can actually specifically be like, okay, during this first part of the day, I'm going to get this thing done. I'm going to run this errand. During the second part of the day, I'm going to do this research. And then I'm going to, work on my business or work on my portfolio or whatever it might be, right? Or I'm going to work on my travel plans for the upcoming year or whatever. It could be that I'm going to work on my dating life. I'm going to, make it a point to go out and socialize. I'm going to make it a point that I, even though dating apps are not my favorite, like get on the apps, whatever it might be, something in the direction of what you're going towards. And the last thing I'm going to touch on this is that if there are certain things that you decide intentionally that you are going to receive without taking action, you can also you can split the page down in 2 and make like a higher power list. And again, this is going to be in my ebook, the full outline of this technique where you say, okay, for this particular thing, I'm giving it to a higher power. I'm allowing the universe to bring this to me, right? So if you have this, like certain things, you're not sure. Sometimes people get very caught up. They're not sure, right, of what to do, what action steps to do. You can even make that an intention that the universe or source or God is going to give you that inspiration so that you know what to do within this given area. And again, this whole process is outlined a lot more in depth in the book. Number 5, the last step in this process is we're going to engage with this detachment process. That's going to drop the importance, lower the importance, and basically take this goal off the pedestal. For a lot of us, these things that we're writing to craft our dream life in 2025, a lot of these goals are probably goals that we've had for a while. They're probably goals that are big goals that we have put a lot of importance on. Maybe many months, years have gone by and we have not been able to see success, or at least the level of success that we would have liked to have seen with these goals. So what we're going to do with this is, as soon as we begin to catch ourselves in going in these negative thought loops, right, we're going to, and this is a counterintuitive approach to this, but there's different options that we have. The first is like the classical techniques. We can hit it with the opposites, affirm the opposites. We can choose another thought. We can allow it to pass by like a floating cloud. We can turn it into a joke, the agree and amplify kind of technique. Or if all of that is, you've tried it, you've done it, but again, with these big goals, with these things that we have a lot of resistance around, they're not necessarily getting you into that state where you feel okay. You're still feeling a lot of resistance around this whole thing. Practice allowing and acceptance. And basically what we're going to do is use like reverse psychology to kind of hack our minds by saying and affirming to ourselves, like, I can have this thought, I can have this belief, I can feel this way and still get what I want. And this is a pretty advanced process. A lot of, I don't hear this being spoken about a lot. Amy from Illuminating Joy, she talks about this in her videos. And it can be very powerful because a lot of the times our mind, like, we just can't get out of that funk. Even if we engage with some of these other practices, if it's a very, very big thing, if it's a dramatic goal that we have, if it is a thing that we've had a lot of resistance around for many years, sometimes being okay and allowing that resistance to come up, it could be a negative belief, it could be experiencing doubt, it could be experiencing anxiety and fear, any of these negative emotions that we're experiencing, we can say, I can experience this fear. I can have this fearful emotion and still be okay. It can all still work out for me in the end. There's other affirmations that you can use for this, which is like, all of this is happening, all of this is working out so that I actually get to my desired reality now. And there's other techniques that you can use, but essentially the idea of allowing and accepting it, because what you resist persists. And there's a famous quote that says, what you resist persists, and what you look at tends to dissolve. What you accept tends to dissolve. And this goes into a lot of like depth psychology, Carl Jung talking about shadow integration, integrating the shadow, basically being able to sit there with your negative emotions, being able to look at your demons in the face and acknowledge them for what they are rather than trying to repress them, trying to like shove them under the rug or under the bed. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm experiencing this fearful emotion. This fearful emotion is showing up again. And speak to it in this way where you're allowing it and accepting it and saying, but you're not going to your presence or this negative emotion is not going to make it so that I can never experience what I want. I can experience this. Many people have experienced doubt, fear, worry, concern. All of these emotions, the full spectrum of emotions, and have still been successful and still been able to achieve what they want, right? So again, the depth and the kind of nuance and a lot of examples of using this technique, because it is an advanced technique, are going to be covered in the ebook that I've been mentioning. Again, hit the link in the description. You'll be added to the list and I'll be notifying you as soon as it drops. And really, when you begin to implement these and use these steps in this month of December, in these months coming up, whenever you're watching this video, you are going to see change. Every time that I've used even some of these techniques, whether it's the mirror technique, whether it is the writing the letter to yourself technique, the time chunking of the day technique, they all are powerful. And when you combine all of them together and you're doing a guided meditation, listening to affirmations, you are really, really setting yourself up for success. You are setting yourself up so that you are now in the top like 1%, 2% of people that is actively using their imagination, actively using your narrative, your internal dialogue, your self-talk, your mental diet in a way that is going to allow you to experience success. A lot of people that you see there are successful. They have the external markers of success. They are what you call unconsciously competent, which is they may never have learned these techniques. They may never have learned, about all of these kind of mental models and things that we talk about on this channel. But for whatever reason, they grew up in a household. They naturally had positive self-talk. They naturally adopted good beliefs. And so a lot of us didn't have that. A lot of us didn't. And even those people, they still struggle with negative beliefs. But maybe they, intuitively practice that reverse psychology on themselves. What we're doing is we are engaging with conscious competence. We are taking this into our own hands, and we are taking our mentality, our lens through which we are viewing reality into our own hands so that we are not being thrown around by the 3D anymore. We are taking back the reins and declaring, every morning in the mirror when we wake up that we are thankful for what we're achieving. We're rampaging in the mirror. And when you really begin to take on this practice, you do it with emotion. As you begin to do it every day, maybe certain days you won't feel it as much, certain days you will. That's okay. What's happening is that you are saturating your mind. Your mind is now beginning to see things through this new lens. You are now beginning to see new evidence of this. The RAS is now focused on the red car. It's now focused on the Porsche. It's now focused on what you've directed it consciously to be aware of. And you are really, like I said, shifting to that timeline where these things are possible. They're not only possible, but they are exponentially more likely to occur. And you're going to notice these synchronicities. You're going to notice these signs popping up. And the more that you engage with this, the more that you do this, you're really, really, like I said, you're going to, every single time I've done this, I've experienced tangible, noticeable success. So I'm excited for you to experience the same thing as well. With that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like if you found this helpful. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've tried any of these techniques before. And cheers to your success, guys. I really hope that 2025 is an amazing year. So many people there's so many different narratives that go on in the collective consciousness. Like, there's these negative things, and then people are focused on positive things, and there's a lot of negativity in the world. But the more that we take control over our own consciousness, as a lot of people say, you got to be the change that you wish to see. The more as within, so without. And so when we begin to take this responsibility, internal responsibility for the way that we're showing up, the way that we're seeing things, the way that we are expressing ourselves in the world, I really believe that we can really create a powerful, powerful timeline change, not only for ourselves, but for the other people in our lives in 2025. I think it's a great opportunity to begin it right now. Much love as always. I appreciate you guys watching and being on the channel and the journey that we're going on here together. That being said, I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah.